All right, this is your market recap for July 25th, 2025. Today, at market open, we were at 25% of the weekly range. So that is right in the middle of the 20 to 30% goal for TGIF. So today was kind of, at least for me, a wait and see type of day, especially if we go down to the 1 hour. You can see kind of been horizontal, came up, took out these highs. Took out these highs and then rallied downwards and then went horizontal for most of London. So at this point, I didn't know if we wanted to continue to sell off below this low, or if we wanted to do exactly like we did today, which was manipulate lower and then attack buy side. So at this point, I was really just waiting for either buy side or sell side to get taken before setting up anything concrete. As you can see, I was looking at this hourly fair value gap right there. I saw it react off of it, and so I saw price rallying back up. Whether that wanted to reject off of it again or close above it and create an inverse like it did, I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew that since we had reacted off of it, it was likely to be used again. If we go down to the, what the heck, what's this? Thank you. If we go down to the 15, you can see here again, London dove down, went horizontal. We took out this low at 9 o'clock. Pre-market, we had also this SMT here, which was helping us with that sell side move right there. From there, we manipulated downwards, took out this low over here, as well as this previous one at 9 o'clock, had that SMT there, expanded upwards, used this 1 hour as an inverse right there, horizontal for about an hour, reacting off this 1 hour fair value gap right there. And then once lunch happened, or once lunch started, we expanded above it, took out all-time highs, and then that was kind of our target for the day. And so we kind of just meandered our way back into the daily range, reacting off of this fair value gap that we created over here and that we used here to take us to where we ended. Down to the 5 minute, there's not much more. There is this 5 minute inverse right here. You can see this 5 minute fair value gap right there, which gets a ton of reactions right here because pre-market we were consolidating. So I was noting that it gets used a lot, and so once we manipulate it down, put in this SMT and expand it upwards, look at that, perfectly comes back to the low of it before continuing its move upwards. Like I mentioned, kind of consolidate in the upwards direction. Lunch happens, rallies, takes out all-time highs, and then we kind of go horizontal from there, dragging down to this 1 hour, and look, price doesn't even want to close inside of it. The 1 minute, only trade that I would have been willing to take was this one right here. This is a 15-second fair value gap, targeting these highs here. Now, the reason I did not take this, let me go over the reason why I would first. So, like I mentioned before, we were consolidating, so I was waiting for either a high or a low to get taken. Now, in this case, we had this SMT here pushing us down, and so I was expecting a sell side move, but whether or not we had an SMT of these highs, or heck, even one of these highs before, I didn't know. So what ended up happening is we ended up drawing back up into this 5 minute that I pointed out, drove down below this low over here. ES did not do that, and as well as the 9:30 opening candle, ES did not do that. So those are higher time from SMT, lower time from SMT, sweep of liquidity, and then we have a displacement to the upside on the 15-second. This right here is a 15-second fair value gap, so your entry would be here, and let's just assume your stop would go below there because that's up, down. This is the low on the 15-second, so constant encroachment of that low. Could have targeted this high here, any of these SMT highs here or here. That's probably what I would have aimed for, what I was aiming for. I don't think I would have aimed for all-time highs, because on a Friday after this mess, you never really know what to expect. So now that's why I would take it. Why would I not take it? Well, why didn't I take it? Well, if we look at ES, let's go to 9:30. Here is ES at 9:30. right? We were both consolidating pre-market, which was okay. I was okay with that. NQ had this nice drive down and this SMT. And obviously, if we're both consolidating and these lows aren't super far, not having ES drive down and continue to consolidate is okay, right? But it's once we started to drive up, right, at 9:39, once we started to drive up and change in the state of delivery, if we look here, we have an expansive candle, but then we have this. 2 downward candle with wicks. This one here fails to get up. So my entry would have been at 42, which was here, right? This is when I would have entered, except I would have entered on NQ. But if you look here, 42, let's get rid of this. What are these? Higher highs, right? Between 40 and 42 higher highs. Here we have 40 up here, and we have 42 lower lows. So in my mind, I see that as an SMT, right? Because at the time it is. And so I could 100%, especially with how price has been this week, or this month, having this SMT be here, retrace down, I enter, and then because of this SMT, price is going to drag down lower and play from there. So that's one. I didn't trust with this SMT of these minor term highs that we wouldn't drive down and then take me out and then go all the way up. But I also just didn't like this price action, right? There's no direction here. There's no nothing. And so I don't want to get into a trade and have it consolidate for an unknown period of time, because that just sucks, right? And so with ES looking like this, I thought it was safer to not take the trade because I didn't want to be in this, right? Now I would have entered on NQ because NQ is looking nicer, but that is why I did not enter, is because ES was looking absolutely horrible. But we drove up above these highs here, had an SMT here, kind of went horizontal. Lunch happened, spiked up, took out all-time highs, and then from there, dragged down below these lows. We try to get another run up there with the 2 o'clock macro, right? We try to run this up here, fail. That's where we get this higher time frame SMT. Perfectly in time for the last hour of trading to start to move down to the range of the day, as well as this hourly inverse. Now, if we look into the future, of course, we're at all-time highs. So my next week projection is going to be bullish. How we set up Monday and Tuesday 100% depends on how we open Sunday. If we look, we've had a good number of bullish weeks, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see less of one. But what I do know is if we say, here's this, -1. Okay, so what I'm checking for right here is usually there is this thing called, I don't remember what ICT called it, but if there is an unfilled fair value gap within a price run, it is likely that the high of that run will be 2 times this move, right? So since we have this unfilled fair value gap here, right, I'm putting that as, boom, the middle, right? The middle of the run, which means we're going to likely extend up to here. So next week, especially with how small these weeks have been, I'm kind of looking for another bullish week. I know it's kind of surprising, but another bullish week. I think we're just going to keep chugging away, but that obviously could be wrong if we go down to the daily time frame. Yeah, we're kind of just chopping our way up. I'd love to see another big expansion up to that price point that I marked, but again, it entirely depends how we open on Sunday and what Monday and Tuesday do. So this has been your market recap for July 25th, 2025.